Any questions before we begin?
No questioning.
All right.
What is the average weight of a full-grown orangutan male?
About 40 pounds.
No, it's much bigger, much more than that.
42?
Orangutans are big boys. I'm going to
Yeah.
say like 260.
Oh, I'm gonna say more than that.
More than that?
I'm gonna say 300.
They're solid, aren't
Yeah.
they?
You're going
It's
to have to
all
talk
muscle.
Yeah.
that way.
Well, we're not actually talking right now, so it's fine.
Hey, Google.
I'm just going to...
What is the average weight of an adult male orangutan?
On the website pbs.org, they say males average 54 inches in height and 191 pounds.
Oh,
do
okay.
this
Whoa.
when we could
That
just...
A lot
sounds like
lighter.
me.
They're lean. Wow, you're 191. Okay, that's good.
I'm
I guess
about
you're
the
kinda
size
short.
of an adult male orangutan.
There you go.
The average.
There are many similarities.
In my old Kentucky home. Kentucky.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Kentucky Commons Radio Hour, the first episode of 2023. I am joined today by David Satterley, John Ronayne, and a couple special guests that we'll get here in a second. And I'm Michael Moeller. We're here in Louisville, Kentucky at Brewgrass Homebrew Supply. We have some special guests here and some special beers. And if you just don't want to wait to see who they are, you can actually just check them out on Patreon right now. As we're looking at this video feed, you can just see them before they even talk. And that's patreon.com/KYCommons. It's $3 a month. That's less than a beer per month that you could be paying for certain content. And it's a new year, new content. We're going to be doing more stuff this year, I think. So, it's worth checking out. But before we really truly begin, David, why don't you introduce our guests?
So, I've been very excited about this podcast for a while. It's been a long time in the making, and I'm happy to introduce a one, Andy Cobb, and a two, Ericka Azzarello. These are the founding members of Butchertown Brewing Company, located in Butchertown in Melwood Arts Center. And we've got Andy, who's the brewer co-founder, and Ericka, who is the director of operations and creative services.
That is correct.
Okay, good. Got nailed that. I was so worried. But thank you guys for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Cool.
Very interested in what you guys have coming up.
No.
You gotta do a
This is
rundown
our
of
that. No, we're
podcast.
interested
We're
in that.
gonna-
I think I just that
And
was
vice
like
versa.
got my interest when Michael was saying that they got what do you have coming up? So anyway, you'll say that at some point, right?
Yeah, lots of mukbang videos on the Patreon. Lots
Yeah.
of anime reviews.
Gooey duck farming.
Yeah,
Okay.
duck
gonna be
racing.
Is it kind of like an OnlyFans thing?
Yeah,
or
kind
is
of.
it-
Only
okay.
cans is what we call it.
Only cans, yeah.
It's our only
Only
cans.
$3 is what
That's
it
a
really should be
deal.
called.
Yeah, really,
So,
yeah.
if you get
Damn,
to see
$3 a month for that.
all this
I'm in.
action, $3.
Yeah.
No. It's good to have you guys on though, because
Thank
there's
you.
been new developments in Butchertown Brewing as of 3 weeks ago. Time flies.
It's indeed, yeah, 3, 4, yeah, something like that. Yeah, right around the holidays. We thought the holidays would be a great time to open a tap room. No, actually,
Was it?
that was when it was ready.
Yeah.
That was when the city of Louisville said we could open up. So
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about moving from Melwood Arts Center to Melwood Arts Center.
Yeah.
it's crazy.
It's not as
completely
easy
different.
as it sounds, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's well, I mean, the big thing is the tap room is like 3 or 4 times the size. So that's and I think I know you guys have been to the tap room. I don't think John's been there yet, but I think I got way too much space for the bartenders. Did you see? Have you seen? Like it's like half the front area is the bartenders, and they're just kind of back there like relaxing. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is too much.
This job is too easy for you.
You got time to lean, you got time to clean.
Yeah.
That's the David Satterley motto.
But the old like finding Butchertown, like Moeller
Yeah.
even made a reel about it. Like
Right.
did.
That was
Something-
very helpful.
Yeah, it's something I should have done a long time ago, but
Because-
I didn't,
because you had to go into the art complex, turn right, open a
Yeah.
door, go up some stairs, look left, look right, make sure there was no oncoming traffic,
right.
then proceed forward, see if the
Yeah.
door was open. If you're
Wink
there
3
from-
times,
Yeah.
do a
Yeah.
180,
Knock on the door,
touch your,
say the word.
nose to your elbow.
And then you're at Butchertown Brewing.
Yeah.
But it was worth all that trouble to get there.
100%.
Right?
Yeah, it was. I mean, there's actually some mixed feelings about this. Some people like the speakeasy vibe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's a little disappointing, but they're like, but this tap room's great, you know. So it's I don't think there's too many hard feelings about that.
I always remember there was like a weird little bar in Asheville. It was called like the Basement Bar or something. And like you had to like walk between these buildings and you like go
Oh.
down a fire escape.
Well, the monks,
That's cool.
what's that place? The monk, Thirsty Monk is
Yep,
downstairs for sure. But I mean,
Exactly.
it's kind of like that. But I didn't know about the alley. That's a different.
Yeah. I
place,
can't remember the name of
guess.
the bar. It was like
Yeah.
one of the, it was, I mean, it's probably 10 years ago, but like, I don't know if they're still there or not.
Well,
but
it's
it
like
was really the same
Sergio's too.
vibe.
Sergio's like,
Yeah.
there's
You
no
wouldn't know it's
sign.
there if you didn't.
I mean, the
know it's
walls,
there.
the windows are boarded.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, if you came from out of town, you're like, where the fuck is this place?
It's like signs that are
Yeah.
like solicitors will be shot or something. It's
and
like,
then you
Yeah,
make
whoop,
shirts.
whoop.
It's like,
The-
where's
the-
Sergio?
the blue light in the back.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very secure now.
I think that's kind of the thesis of craft beers, that I want things that other people can't have. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
So
All
maybe-
that being
yeah,
said, I
maybe-
do think your all's new location is going to be
Man.
great for like
It's
foot
already
traffic.
been great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is a weird time to do something like that because you're going into January and all that. But I mean, I guess it is the best time to do it, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, because now we can do live music, we can do karaoke, which I expect all of you to come in.
Oh,
and
heck yeah.
do. Yeah.
I'm big
so, you
ABBA.
know, just
I can do ABBA. Well,
bingo,
There
if
you
you go
go.
to bingo, pull tabs.
I
you
do
know?
a Brandy by Looking Glass. And the
Yeah.
sailors say,
That's right.
Brandy,
You're a
you're a
fine
fine girl.
You can sing Creed. You know Creed?
With
could do
arms
Creed.
wide
He,
open.
he knew Creed right away.
Kentucky Commons karaoke hour.
Yeah.
Yes,
There you go.
absolutely.
I like it.
Okay.
It's got some potential.
We're here. But I've been excited for you to be on for a little while, and Erica, because I like her more than you. But I've known you.
I'm glad I excite you, David.
That's right.
Should we talk about this later?
What we can talk about it now. I mean,
Let's
it's
talk
no
about
big
it for
deal.
everybody.
Let's air it out.
Say it out.
Let's. I guess we met about 8 years ago now.
Is that why you're drinking the
S-
8 years?
Wow.
Oh yeah.
No
Yeah,
way.
You weren't even
yeah.
old enough to drink.
I
back
was.
then.
I'm actually.
You're
I'm
in diapers.
actually 29. So.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
So
Time
just
flies.
squeaking by.
Was this? Why did you break out the apple brandy? Because was that like one of the first beers we drank together? or
Was this
something?
not the first beer we drank together?
Yeah.
I think you might be right.
Because I have a memory like an elephant or a large male average sized orangutan, as you precluded to earlier.
which is what? How many pounds?
191
That's right.
On average.
Yeah.
on average.
On average.
And so for the listeners, this beer is the Prairie Artisan Ale Apple Barrel Brandy Noir Imperial Stout aged in apple brandy barrels. And you said this is a 2015.
15.
Wow.
Yeah, this
Wow.
is
Can we now talk about brandy?
the sore
Yes,
spot.
Sailors say
soon.
Brandy.
Still too soon.
Still too soon. But yeah, this is one of the first beers that we ever kind of shared together. Back in 2015, Louisville was a completely different landscape in the world of beer.
Oh gosh.
We've talked about it on several podcasts, but really, I mean, in 2015, did you have ideas about opening a brewery?
2015?
Yeah. 16 even?
I think that's the year we opened.
yeah.
Well, I mean, that was the year that you guys opened.
I think so. That would have been 8 years ago, you said?
Yeah.
I think we'll be having our
Wow.
8th year in this summer. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we opened in 2015, if that
Wow,
math works
that's
out
great.
right. I should know these things, but
That's
Yeah.
awesome. What did you ask?
So clearly,
yeah, no, right. No, dude, I was homebrewing. I want to say what my age is, but I'm old. That's what my age is. But I was homebrewing in my 20s, you know, making quads, Belgian quads and shit. So I don't know if I always had it in my head, but you know, I saw these other people. And I was like, "Fuck, if Spencer Guy can do it."
he wasn't 8 years ago. He wasn't.
he was
Yeah,
probably
that's-
like,
No, he was homebrewing though.
Homebrewing.
Yeah,
just getting started
we
homebrewing.
homebrewed
Yeah.
some stuff together
Yeah.
and all that. Yeah. Right.
that's crazy to think about, like how much has happened in like at that time.
God, it just seems like
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, this beer at its prime was a top tier. This is really kicking everybody's lick on what they wanted. Early barrel finishes were mostly bourbon. This one kind of broke the mark into brandy.
Mhm.
Provided a new profile for people to try. Now there's brandy and cognac and vanilla and all kinds of barrels that come out of everything. So
Yeah, for sure.
this one's always kind of been a little special, but
I'd say it's holding up.
it's a
Yeah, it actually
it's
is. Yeah.
slightly
For sure.
oxidized, but
Yeah.
not
Oh, yeah,
much.
for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, it's 8 years old.
8 years.
Right.
And how hard
yeah.
was it to get 8 years ago?
Incredibly.
Yeah.
I think that was
Yeah.
kind of the bonding moment, if you
Right.
will, because
Yeah,
he's
that
like
was
here.
one of them.
Did you guys kill somebody for this beer? Is that what I'm getting?
He's like, here's this beer that I spent $20 on, and I'm like 22 years old, and I'm like, why would any beer cost $20? Like,
Oh,
and then
gosh,
flash
yeah.
forward.
Well, and I was talking to somebody about this the other day. It's like it's complete just through the pandemic, it's changed. I mean, just with the distribution and everything, because I guess breweries had to kind of adjust and start sending shit out everywhere, right? And then that's not going to go back. Like, that's not going to change, right? I mean, that's why it's like all the secondary prices have gone down,
Mueller caught a pretty good take about that recently. Do you remember about sort of how the national market changed when more local places showed up?
Yep.
No.
I have no idea
John,
what you're
what?
talking about.
Farmer's high.
Do you
Anyhow,
dream about Moeller's like takes on the creature distribution system?
listen, I have a lot of dreams. They involve the
About
people.
Mueller.
I mean, I don't disagree. I'm just trying to think of that specific conversation or specific points that I made.
The context was around basically in 2015. This was a sort of holy grail beer that you would try and seek out and et cetera, because there were no local options that were fulfilling that kind of niche. And eventually, as time progressed, more local options filled, and you saw more wider distribution of other
Right.
things.
Yeah.
So now you see bottles like I mean, this is no discredit, but like bottles of like Abraxas just like sitting on a shelf, when otherwise it would have been something that people were literally like driving past the delivery truck to
Standing
see
in
where they
line.
stop.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
that's right.
there's an ebb and flow to that entire model, and that also comes with the recent changes in the last few years of just getting beer from anywhere shipped directly to your door.
True.
Right.
Also,
Yeah.
I don't have to go to a specialty bottle shop anymore to wait in line or pick anything special or hope I get there on the same day that the distributor delivery guy gets there. I can just get it delivered, and that, there's some culture that goes away with that, because I'm no longer seeing the same guys at all the different bottle
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
shops and
standing
like
in line,
splitting
doing
bottles.
line
We're not doing
shares,
bottle shares,
It
line
makes me
shares.
sad.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And instead, I'm just like collecting all these bottles that go on a shelf in a basement because that's what UPS gave me.
Yeah. I mean, you can get Cantillon, Trey Fontaine. I mean, you can get Anchorage Brewing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if they're still doing it, but they were like shipping through Tavor or some shit. It's like,
I
are
mean, we
you
had some
serious?
nerd friends that went to Alaska, so
That's
Oh, yeah, there you go.
yeah. If you got nerd friends that go to Alaska, then like
Butchertown, we should bring back the line shares.
we're totally that 2023 is going to be the year. of the
Now
line.
now
We're
that the
bringing it
tap
back.
room is in
We're
a
gonna
great
bring it back.
location to
Awesome.
have the shares and courtyard.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're gonna do like X's, even though we don't really have to now. But tables out there. We're gonna bring it back.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
I'm excited for this. Do you want to
Really?
talk? Yeah, well, yeah. I
I mean, you
mean,
should just like serve Miller High Life, and then like just everybody can drink their beers in line. That'd just be kind of like funny.
no. To Michael's point though, you collect these beers and you're like, oh, this is special, and then you're like, when should I open this? And you're like, never.
Never.
Like,
Yeah. It's
never is
just
the
beer
answer.
hoarding
so-
at that point.
Yeah, which I always chastised like people older than me for doing, and now I'm like, the old guy shaking his fist. So
I take your point though, because I remember like how much of the culture was like getting stuff with your friends or trading or like seeking out special things and like whatever. You made a lot of friendships that way, and
Oh,
now
yeah.
you can just get it on the internet, which is like the story of modernity in a way. It's just like
Somebody-
Now you have to be friends with people that you actually have like enjoy. Like have some other stuff in common with.
you have to have a
enjoy.
podcast to see.
that
your
is
friends.
ridiculous. Somebody today even asked me when Ethereal's Baba Yaga Day was, and I was like, I don't know. And they're like, but I've
Yeah.
always seen you there every year, and I'm like, I have no idea. Like, I will maybe go when it happens. They're like, but I always see you in line, and we always see you.
I mean, wasn't that just like a month ago?
Yeah, isn't it around Thanksgiving?
They
or
do a Black
something?
Friday, and then they also do their anniversary,
Okay.
which is late January.
So there's 2 Baba Yaga
Oh.
releases?
Yeah, just like there's 2 snake cake releases.
Hmm.
There are 2 snake egg
Didn't
releases.
know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Travel the
So it
state
sounds like
enough
we need to be
do
friends
it.
with Satterley, right, to get all those.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you
bottles.
how many, when the releases are,
Yeah.
so you know. I mean,
Hey, Satterley, when's the next Butchertown release?
Hold on. It came out today.
That's right.
Today. Did
Oh,
you
it did, yeah.
Did you bring some?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Cool.
Can we have it?
Yeah.
Or does that like got to stay in the fridge?
No, well, it's got to stay in the fridge
Releases
until it's
3 minutes.
Okay, good. We're getting early access, guys.
it's got to stay in the fridge until you drink it.
All right.
So this is our first. I tried a Pilsner. Man, you gotta when you open a new brewery, you gotta do equipment. You gotta dial shit in, right? I did a Pilsner. It was not dialed in. I really didn't. I kind of just dumped it. But this I'm very happy with this guy. This is or girl, I should say.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
Did you just
this is-
misgender your beer?
Hey,
She's
it's
always
2023.
So this is I've got the description here is a smooth, crispy lager enjoyed year round. The name of the Italian lager is Gianna, who is the daughter of a very good friend of mine, just born this year in 2022. And actually, he sent me a picture. We released this tonight at the tap room with some cans, and he sent me a picture of her little hand pointing at the menu with.
That's awesome.
It was great. But yeah, so this is our first. We did 7 barrels of this, so we have a 3-barrel system, but we can do high gravity and then make 7 barrels of stuff magically through magic. So we did that with this one, and super happy. Do we talk about like the green bill or the hops?
Why don't we just
or
open
anything,
it
or
first?
Yeah, let's
Open
taste
the damn
it.
thing.
Taste this off.
Shut your mouth and open it. This one does not have a pubic hair on it that I can tell. So.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
I love Italian Pilsners.
Yeah, I love that trend
Yeah.
that's been coming back around.
100%.
Yeah, Peroni is just like has my heart.
Yeah, that's a
Peroni.
great beer.
Italian disco mnemonic.
Italian disco.
And then
Beautiful.
meatball.
Meatball.
That Atrium does here in town.
Yeah.
Yes. Meatball. Oh God, so
Did you
good.
get one?
So yeah, we're just
Okay.
we're just going
Here,
right
give us
along
to-
with the trend.
There you go. You're welcome.
Oh, dude, that's got some apple brandy in it. It might be an apple brandy Italian Italian lager.
Well, it smells great. Nice little light hoppy, light kind of grainy
I get one too.
aroma.
I haven't had very much of this.
Nice
It's like
and clear.
every day.
Good head retention, good lacing in the glass.
It smells just fresh. I mean, I guess that's what you get when you taste a beer 3 minutes before it's actually released.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, super light and malty. A little bit of kind of like lemony notes coming off of the brighter hops in there.
Yep.
I get a little bit of that kind of Germany grain husky kind of thing going on, which I really like. It's fantastic, man. Absolutely.
Thanks,
great.
man. Cheers. Appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, I'd drink this any time of the year.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for playing along.
So yeah, tell us a little bit about how you came up with the recipe and put it all together.
Yeah. So, I stole the recipe just like everybody else does.
Yeah.
I did a little research because I knew I wanted to go kind of the Peroni route. And by the way, I want to do a Sing one, that Indian beer, SINGH.
uh-huh.
Oh,
Yeah.
so good. Dry, super dry, and just refreshing. So
Yeah.
that's my next kind of lager project, I think.
Big on international lagers.
Yeah. Exotic up in here. You know what I mean?
They had profile. Depth.
This was so yeah, I wanted to shoot for Peroni, right? I wanted to go because I love a Peroni. And so I just started researching like Peroni clones. They don't have their recipe out there, but it's a mass-produced beer, but some of those mass-produced beers are like, I'm a Coors Banquet guy. I just can't get enough of it. So that I kind of started with there. I tweaked I think one of the recipe that I really like. A lot of these are like some homebrew recipes too, and there's like 25 hops and a different kind. And it's like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
So I just did saws like I think I did like 3 different editions during the boil. I didn't do any dry hopping. And I mean, it's super low IBU. I think it's like 23 or something, 24. And I don't know. I love it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I think it really came out nice. That's super crushable.
Yep, that's pretty good for no dry hop.
You can never go wrong with saws. It's
Yeah,
like a good, especially in those like European style lagers. It's freaking fantastic. Although I will say, when I do Italian Pilsner, I've been using a little bit of that, a little bit of the Hallertau Blanc for like a finishing hop.
Yeah, like that's like a wine, isn't it? Give it like a little bit of a white
like
wine
Sauvignon
flavor.
Blanc.
Yeah,
I think
right.
Where they came
Exactly.
up with the name, but it gives it just that little kind of like light. I
Yeah.
don't know how you describe grapey, lemony, citrusy, very subtle. It's not like, a Citra or something that'll punch you in the face, but I get a little bit of that, I think, just from the combo of like the malt and the hops in there. Just a little bit bright on the finish. So I think very well done.
We
very
did some
style.
acidulated and on the grain bill.
Mhm.
I mean, it's mostly pills, right? Pills and malts. Trying to think of that was I think it was like straight pills and
Simple beer.
super simple.
Yeah.
Maybe I can't remember if we did dextrin in this or not, but anyway, I don't want to give away.
You
all
guys
my
are
secrets.
not always known for simple beers, though. You guys have a wide streak. We can talk about that a little bit if you want.
No.
So what's the craziest beer you guys think you've cranked out at this point?
Oh, it's got to be the eggnog sour.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
give me
I
a
was gonna
fucking
say that
break.
or the Nulu.
Was that the Yoo-hoo?
Oh,
The
the
Yoo-hoo,
yeah.
Yeah, that was a little bit of that was too much. That was
honestly,
you just went too far.
I am the grumpy old guy on the porch a lot of the time. Like kids these days, beer,
Right.
what's give me my lager or
You should be
whatever.
saying that about this one. Yes.
Well, I appreciate the spirit of innovation, though,
Jesus
at the
Christ.
end of the day. Especially when it's
the inspiration.
Yeah, I don't-
well,
I mean, innovation is one thing. This was just like no. Just why would you do chocolate in a sour? Like I mean, you can do cocoa nibs and that. I mean, that could work with some kind. But like, I mean, this is we put chocolate fucking ice cream in this thing. I mean, it's like no.
Learned from that too,
No.
right? A lot of things were
We
learned.
learned.
And then
We learned a
pivot
lot.
And try new
I mean,
ingredients after that.
If we did it again, if there was some huge, blowback and people said, the masses said, you have to do this again or we're going to revolt. It's like I would use lactose-free vanilla ice cream and then chocolate flavoring or just cocoa nibs or something. I wouldn't do
Hershey syrup.
I would never do chocolate ice cream again.
Well, my
So-
favorite thing about that entire thing, that entire theming, was just the self-deprecation that you
Yes.
use in your
Yes.
marketing for it.
Yes.
And-
We will find out who is responsible for this.
I blame the director of creative services.
That
Yes.
was not me. I tried to put a stop
She's
to
the
it.
fall
and he didn't
girl.
listen.
I just feel
No,
bad
no,
for
she
whoever's
did.
cleaning up your floor drains when that tube comes out.
Oh, God.
Must have been a sight.
Bad. So yeah, that was I mean that was the worst. That was probably the
Well,
I
the
don't know,
eggnog was the craziest sounding, but it's been one of the biggest hits.
Yeah.
Like people have been asking for it.
like Frankfurt Avenue Liquors in June
Yeah.
asks me about the fucking eggnog.
Well,
You know what I mean? Like, are you going to do that again
Evan
this year?
Williams does that like
Yeah.
bottled eggnog. I mean,
Oh,
why-
God.
there should be
Oh,
a beer version. Of
I mean,
Oh,
bourbon
yeah.
eggnog has
Yeah.
been a staple of my family's Christmas tradition
sure.
for
Absolutely.
years. So,
I mean,
delicious.
I mean, that's what like good eggnog is.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, there's like the Olden Brown recipe as
Mhm.
other stuff, but like this is an eggnog sour, so we're making new traditions here.
It's a
in
little different.
Butchertown.
Yeah, it's a little
Right.
different. I mean, it's creamy. It's like eggnog up front, but then it has this really weird sourness at the end that kind of makes you want to go like this and like, I need to try that again. And it makes you keep going back to it because the sour, you want the creamy again, and it just takes you on a little ride.
Well, speaking of sour, this is something that I don't really see people do often, and I do admire the innovation behind it. But tell me a little bit about Sour Bar Sundays.
Oh yeah. Been a big proponent of that. So yeah, we do. My understanding, this is a thing in Germany where they take a Berliner base and then they'll add. And actually, Mile Wide did this a few years back. I don't know the way that was like.
That was
one of my
their
favorite things they did.
original kettle sour. The Quiet Science,
Yes.
originally had no additional fruit in it. It was
Right. And they're like-
dosed to pour.
Yeah, and they were
Yeah.
like, "Would you like some raspberry or some?" I was like, "Yes, I would." and it was wonderful, And so I started doing that, and we created a sour bar sundae thing where we have a bunch of additives you can throw into our base. I'm pretty happy with our base. It stands alone, but it's pretty sour. So you can add blueberry and lemonade, or cherry and limeade, or mango and coconut, or lactose-free vanilla and guava, whatever.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's fun. Just something a little different.
It gets people interested.
Yeah, I mean, it was something I just wanted to throw out there and try, because I knew we were doing all these sours with the flavors that we wanted, but like, we've actually had some things come out of that. They were like, okay, we're going to do a guava colada. That came out of that. That was one of the things that came out of that. So, and actually, Frankfurt Avenue Liquors is having a tiki night on January 27th or something. Yeah. January 27th. And so they asked us to do a keg of the guava colada. So it's like one of the owner's wife's favorite beer that we make. They come there all the time. So so we're going to do a keg of that for their event. But anyway,
it's been nice, like when we go out and we do festivals and things like that, where people, the sours are there and we offer a sour and they're like, oh, I'm not a sour person.
Yeah.
And it's like, just take a sip. You'll like it. Believe us. And then we've converted so many people.
Yeah.
That
we're bringing,
didn't think they like sours.
Yeah. We're bringing people in, like people that might be craft people. Maybe they're, maybe they like Coors Banquet like I do, but they really haven't crossed over. So we're kind of bringing them in slowly into the dark side. With crazy sours and stuff. So I don't know.
Well, I'm really excited about your all's move into the courtyard area. You're going to get a whole new audience down there. I think that was pretty big news. I think people are pretty excited about it. But there's a little bit more news going on in Louisville. So David, why don't you tell us a little bit about Trellis?
So, near and dear to my heart, Trellis, also near and dear to my house, a block and a half away.
Nice.
Is part of the structure that is the old Merchant's Ice Tower in Louisville. It's been around since 1860. They started developing that. I bought my house 5 years ago, and I really anticipated the day when they were just going to demolish it, and I was going to watch it all come down. But apparently the bones are great. So
it's on Logan Street, right?
On Logan, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Trellis has been in planning for a little while. We had Kyle and Ryan on the podcast, and they gave a little bit of sneak peek. But as of the last week, they have announced that they're, ready to run, essentially fully funded. And that project is well planned and about to be underway, I guess, within the next week or so. So
that's exciting.
That's great. Congratulations to them.
Yeah, that's
big.
exciting.
It's
can't wait to do a collab, Kyle.
Trellis story. They can find that on August. It was August 16th, 2022. They were on the pod.
Yep.
Cool.
So in 4 months or so, they've made a lot of progress, and they're going to be coming in soon. So I can't wait to see what comes out of that and where it is. I've seen some of the early renderings. It looks really cool. It's a lot cooler because it's closer to my house.
They have a lot of work to do, but there's some Louisville beer history to those two buildings. The Merchant Ice Tower building is where fairs used to have, or rather used to store commercial refrigerated ice. It was the first place in Louisville where there was commercial ice available. So hat tip to fairs for that.
Wow.
Schaefer-Meyer?
And then Schaefer-Meyer Brewery is where Trellis, I believe, is going into. Yeah. So Schaefer-Meyer was the other old brewery. So there's some, life going back into these old places.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. See, I can't wait to do a collab with those guys, because you're going to have like the purist, Kyle the purist over here. And then you'll have, eggnog sour guy over here. Just let's do it.
Not super purist, but yeah, I think it's going to be a little crazy. But the space is awesome. Like walking through it, touring it, it's going to be, the vision they have is solid.
They want to have a cool ship.
Yeah, which is cool.
I thought about putting a cool ship in Butchertown, but
Butchertown smells like butchered pigs. So,
maybe not.
I'm going to stop to that creative idea.
Right,
okay?
that's not right. Yeah.
And we're still waiting on one more tap room to open. It's kind of been up in the air for a little while, but Pivot announced a little while ago, and we're anxiously awaiting. So
We added them to the Louisville Il Trail passport this week, so they have to open soon.
yeah, they're official. So
Not printed yet. They'll be in the next edition coming out, but they will be in the next edition.
Pivot out of Lexington, Kentucky, known for being a lot of ciders, but they've also been brewing a little bit more recently too, as we've talked about before. So hopefully, pretty soon we'll see them open there on Bardstown Road, which is becoming a really nice little spot for brewery tap rooms. I mean, you got you've got the Great Flood spot, which has been there for a while. 1020 has their Douglas Loop location, then Pivot. Then you go a little bit further down, you got the ATG Public House.
Yep.
So you got a nice little corridor there building back up, which was at one point like a really attractive part of the Highlands, kind of seeing a resurgence again.
yeah, I spent most of 7th grade walking up Bardstown Road. So.
I was gonna say I spent we would always go to that Heine Brothers on Douglas Loop. Like that was our spot when we were like in high school or whatever. So
Yeah.
it'll be nice to be able to hang out on that same little like outdoor
Right.
point
Little
and
triangle
drink a
thing.
beer. Yeah,
Yeah.
or whatever.
And then last bit of Louisville news, Gravely has their food truck that's owned and operated by Gravely, and it's been there for their entirety of their existence. But recently announced Mine Cafe has exited that food truck.
Right. Mhm.
So we're anxiously awaiting figuring out who's coming in there. I think that'll be announced hopefully by the end of the month.
I just hope whoever it is keep some guacamole around because that was clutch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I just hope it stays good, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just stay
Pretty
good.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah, if not good, better. But
Yeah.
Mine Cafe was great. It was always good to have a nice little restaurant concept on top of Gravely. Sit on the patio, have some salbutes. You got no more time left to try that. But if you missed it, you missed it. And if you know, you know.
If you know, you
I
know.
love it.
We do have a surprise guest coming in tonight, and
Oh.
it's for a little segment that we like to call. And by I say we like to call, meaning like we're literally just probably can do this one time.
Wait, hold on. Can I ask a question? John, was that you making a dial up
that was
like a
him.
dial up connection
I didn't say
sound?
anything.
I think that was him.
That wasn't me.
It's gonna
That was our special
AOL
guest.
flashbacks.
Yeah, it was like
Oof. Fingers on a chalkboard. Little segment that we like to call AI versus AC.
Oh, Jesus, here we go.
Oh, this should be interesting.
Bring it.
David, let's cue up the guest tonight, coming in from the internet.
You want to introduce the segment, or do you just want to go cold?
You just did.
Okay.
Just did.
I just needed to know.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. ChatGPT.
Thank you, AC. As a fellow tech veteran in the industry,
Oh, God.
we're going to push the edges of the brewing industry and beer industry
Sweet.
and ask what is most prominently known as the world's greatest AI, a little question or two about brewing. So
Love it.
I'm just going to ask our guest to introduce ourselves real quick.
Ich kann Informationen über den Brauprozess.
Oh, no, chat.
It's German.
Chat. Okay, in English, please. Thank you.
I can provide information about the brewing process, ingredients, different styles
this
of
a
beer,
test?
and help troubleshoot issues related to brewing beer. I will do my best to assist you.
Thank you, ChatGPT. You're always so much help.
Can we do that in French? En français.
I don't
Por
know.
favor.
I don't know.
We need
French.
Italian to go with the beer.
Oh,
tonight.
yeah, Italian. Yeah.
It's not time.
Bellissimo. Forget about it. No, I don't. That's
No,
not.
no.
No.
We do have just 3 simple questions.
Okay.
So we're gonna ask you, AC,
All right.
and then we're gonna ask AI.
All right. I love it.
Question
I'm
number
gonna,
1.
I'm going to try to answer. I'm going to try to predict how ChatGPT would answer this. So I'm going to.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So, question number 1. I found that my yeast has stalled during fermentation. Can you help me get it started?
All right. So am I supposed to answer now? And then we.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you had a stalled fermentation. So you can roust it. How far along are you? Are you close to gravity,
See, this is
terminal
what the computer
gravity.
can never really do. It's
Exactly.
Like, this
You're-
is my
you're
job.
already-
This is a
This
back
is
and
my
forth.
job.
You're already providing value. Yeah.
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 I'm glad to provide value to the podcast. Yeah, I mean that would be my first question is like,
Let's
how
say-
close are you to
Let's
terminal
say it's
gravity?
been
'Cause-
like 14 days or so.
oh well, you're almost done then. I mean, depending on if it's a
Are you though?
if it's a lager, I guess you might have a little bit more to go. But if you told me what your pitch gravity was and what your gravity is right now, and then what your terminal gravity is, which are all things that you should know, then or be able to find out, then I could give you good advice on that. So if ChatGPT tries to fucking tell you something other than that, they're wrong. I mean, there's a bunch of different ways you can do it, but if you're early on in the fermentation, it's just not doing anything, then you roust it, right? I mean, is this a homebrew podcast or a brew podcast?
I've got hot takes, but I do want to hear what ChatGPT says. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, what happened to it?
Oh, that's now chat.
I got you. Oh, I got you.
This is good though. This is good. All right.
Yeah. So you can roust it. You can raise the temperature. I mean, John knows all these things, right? But I'd be interested to see what Chat fucking GP said.
So I'm going to ask ChatGPT the same question. I found that my yeast is stalled during fermentation. Can you help me get it started? And this is going to be their answer.
One way to try to get the yeast started again is to aerate the wort. The liquid that
You
will
said
be
that.
Terrible
fermented
idea to aerate your
from
wort
beer
close to the end of
well before
fermentation, though.
pitching
Do not do
yeast.
that.
This can be done by splashing the wort or by using an aeration stone connected to an air pump. Also, check the temperature that you are fermenting your beer. Yeast have a range in which they ferment efficiently. It is important to keep your fermentation temperature in this range.
The other benefit
Another
is I don't
approach would
talk
be
like
to
that.
check that you are adding the appropriate amount of yeast nutrient. For most beer styles,
Except to
a
Ericka
good
sometimes.
rule of thumb
She
is
likes
to
it.
use at least 0.25 grams of yeast nutrient per liter of wort, or about 1/4 teaspoon per 5 gallons. Also, check the sanitation of your equipment and ingredients.
Yeah, but
You
it's a
should
little too late
sanitize
for that,
the
bitch.
wort will come into contact with the wort, from fermenter to thermometer.
Gosh,
And
it's just
if
like
you suspect contamination, consider using a yeast starter culture.
Also, brevity is the soul
Or
of wit. Come on,
repitching
lady.
with a fresh culture.
Right.
I think she knows everything.
If none
She's
of
a
the above
know-it-all.
solutions help, you may want to take a gravity reading to confirm
Can we change
that
voices?
fermentation has indeed stopped.
Okay, so while the internet actually reinforced several of your principles, you chastised it the entire time.
Totally wrong advice.
Deservedly so.
If you aerate your wort,
Doesn't work.
I switched it back. If you aerate the wort at the end of fermentation when you're trying to
You're
because the question
fucked.
was my yeast is stalled,
Bad.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
No, that's terrible advice. What you said is right. You can rouse some yeast up off the bottom very carefully. Try not to mix in any more oxygen. She said to add yeast nutrient. That's also very foolish towards the end of fermentation because the yeast don't need it. They're not going to reproduce anymore. A little bit of yeast energizer or some kind of like complex like that. Good advice. And then, she was also just annoying. So
So it sounds like
AC1.
it sounds like we can. That's 1 point for AC.
yeah.
Oh, this is a
Humanity.
contest.
I
Jesus
think-
Christ.
I think we're gonna have to teach Chat GPT a few things. But as always, we do ask.
That's the scary thing is it eventually will listen to this podcast and it'll get better.
Oh,
So
yeah.
as much as I'm hating on it, like this is a frighteningly great and incredibly awesome technology.
Don't feed that into ChatGPT.
Well, they're all listening to us anyways. But
Fair.
True.
as always, we do ask for a show and tell. You brought us their Gianna lager from Butchertown Brewing. That's something you love that is beer. And one thing we always ask is you bring something that isn't beer. And I have this nice bottle in front of me. It's just so nice. Do you want to tell me what this is? Because I think I know, but I know.
Yeah, it's Four Roses. This is a Cox Spirit Shop. Shoppies. SHOPPES. Shoppies. Whatever that is. And
I like how you went back to pronounce shoppies right,
yeah.
but just left cock like alone.
Cox.
Well,
Cox's.
it was Cox, wasn't it Cox Smokers Outlet?
God damn it! No, I'm doing it.
Right?
Cox
Smokers Outlet.
Smokers Outlet.
Yeah.
Which
There's
is a lot of
nothing.
S's.
There's nothing on here about being a cock smoker outlet or something.
That
Okay.
was on the other bottle. That was the bottle behind us.
This is and Evergreen Liquors. But anyway, this is really good. So this is aged 9 years and 10 months. It's OESQ formulation. It's what is that? What's 60.9 times 2? 120,
139.
Yeah.
138 ish.
Shut up, ChatGPT over there.
There's
With
no
your
way.
math.
It's not 130. It's 60 times 2
Oh, I thought
is
you
120.
said 69. That's my
No.
favorite number.
60.9.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
You got a little excited there.
Keep it clean.
121.
121.8.
Anyway, this is really nice. This was bottled in September 2020. But yes, this is very good.
Right.
See, it's a single barrel pick.
Oh, fantastic. And barrel strength.
Yeah, pretty much. That's all I get is the barrel picks.
So we're
Love
gonna
'em. That's
take a little skosh of
really
this,
tasty.
and then we're
John,
gonna
you should try that.
Yeah.
It's really good.
then we're gonna talk to a little more to ChatGPT.
Just John, not me. You can have some too.
You're optional. I mean, apparently here you said you were going to talk that much.
I said I wasn't.
I know, but you are. You're talking a lot, which is
Which is
great.
great,
I think
yeah.
it's great. I think it's great.
So this question's a little pointed.
Uh-oh.
I asked ChatGPT. I want to make bourbon barrel aged beer. Should I add beer to the barrel or just add oak spirals soaked in bourbon and secondary?
Well, if you're a home brewer, you don't have a lot of options. I mean, you can make, what is it, 10, maybe a 5 or 10 gallon. That's going to take you 5 batches for 10 gallons plus.
Yeah.
If you do 5 gallons, you're going to take you 10 plus batches. So that could take some time. And then you're going to maybe take some risks there.
What's a consecutive 10 brew day? I mean, that's like
Well,
48 hours of brewing beer.
I mean, if you did it
That's right.
constantly, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah. I mean, that sounds brutal. But yeah, I would not. I mean, there's really no comparison as far as I'm concerned to like putting it in an actual barrel, like a charred barrel that had bourbon in it for like 6, 7, 8, 10 years. Older barrels, I don't love. The good stuff's gone from those mostly. The exception I have to say is what was that 2015, the rare, that OG rare. Holy shit.
Oh, you're talking
Delicious.
about beer.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But the Bourbon County.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so if if you get a young tight barrel.
But
I was waiting for it anyway. But yeah.
If only Buddy was here, he would know which button it is.
All you did was turn off the channel.
Anyway, oh God.
What are we doing?
There are some sound effects that will play. And
Oh,
one of them is a
nice.
rim shot.
Okay.
Rim shot. Oh, you can edit those in later though, right?
Yeah. That's what we'll do here.
Yeah, you must.
Anyway.
So yeah, a young, nice, freshly dumped, 10, 8, 6, 8, 7, 10
fine, it's
years
fine. It's
is great. And fill the damn thing up. Purge it first with CO2. Don't rinse it out, et cetera, et cetera. So am I still competing with ChatGPT on something like that?
We're gonna ask, because when we hosted the barrel panel back in October, there was a dissenting opinion of Jerry Nagy of Against the Grain. So we had a couple distillery partners, reps. We had a barrel broker partner, and then a few brewers come in. And I think the standout from that conversation was mainly, for me at least, Jerry explaining that he believed oak spirals were the way to go. So there's been debate. We've talked with a couple of different people on the podcast. If we want to go back through some of our partners that do large barrel programs and maybe listen to their opinion of that too. But let's see what the internet
What was
has
the
to say.
argument for doing, just out of curiosity, what's the argument for doing spirals versus, I mean, you get control, I guess.
I think it's control,
Is it convenience
spot,
or-
Convenience for
speed.
sure.
Yeah.
And scale.
All right.
Yeah.
ChatGPT. What's the difference here between oak spirals and a barrel?
Both adding beer to a barrel or adding oak spirals soaked in bourbon to secondary can work for making a bourbon barrel aged beer, but they will have different flavor profile outcomes. When you add the beer to a barrel, the beer will have complex vanilla, caramel, and toasted oak flavors and also pick up some residual bourbon flavor, but the process is slower. While adding oak spirals soaked in bourbon to the beer in secondary fermentation, you will get vanilla and caramel notes from the oak, but not as much toasted oak and residual bourbon flavor. But process is quicker. Both methods will give unique taste profiles, and it's possible to blend both methods to achieve desired flavor profile. And also, keep in mind that using oak and bourbon should be done with care, as too much can overpower the beer.
Interesting.
I don't think that's a bad answer.
That's not a
That's
bad
a
answer,
pretty
no.
fucking good answer.
I've never heard of blending back an oak spiral versus barrel beer.
Blending back, what do you mean?
So they propose that you could use both methods
Yeah.
simultaneously. I
But
don't know
if
if
you're
anyone
gonna do
that does-
barrel, why would you bother with? Oak. I don't know. I mean, I guess the biggest argument, it looks like it's faster, right? I mean, you could
Sure.
get what you've done faster, but you're missing the bourbon and you're missing some of that toasted, which is what I love in a bourbon barrel aged beer. You know, I don't know. I mean, I'm not no judgment, but
I feel like Chet was pretty on the money there.
Yeah.
Like that's a pretty decent answer. And but yeah, I guess ultimately it comes down to what do you want?
Yeah.
Like
Right.
People ask questions all the time, like, well, what should I do? Like, well, what hops should I use in my IPA? It's like, well, what do you want? Like, what do you want the final product to be? So that's what that's the thing that's going to be the uncanny valley of AI is like, how do you?
yeah,
There's no there. Like the proof of the pudding is always in the eating. How does an AI define what good is? Even
Yeah.
people on Untapped can't agree. And so does it
Right.
just go with the average Untapped opinion? Does it go with what's on Wikipedia? Like,
right.
Well, I'm going to give the point to AI.
no! I
Oh, wow.
see, Andy.
Oh.
So now we are 1-1 ACAI.
So
Wow.
what? Here's the interesting thing, though. Like, what if, like, is ChatGPT and OpenAI shit like that? Is it smart enough to know what you're talking about and to not opine on certain things? In other words, it comes to flavors, or maybe it's going to be really discreet or really maybe even vague about some of their answers because they're like, well, that's
Maybe.
a human thing. We really can't. You see what I'm saying? Maybe it's smart enough to recognize that. I
Well,
don't know.
ChatGPT is a model that's being constantly refined. In fact, when you give it answers, you can ask it to refine, you can ask it to go into
Yeah.
deeper detail, you can ask it to summarize. I've not yet asked it to try a Butchertown beer, but the minute that becomes available, I will.
But will it just synthesize the top 5 Untapped reviews and spit you out some version of that?
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
I will move
or-
on to our
yeah.
third question, though.
All right.
Since it's 1-1, this is really the tiebreaker.
Okay.
However, can you predict the next beer trends for 2023? I know this
Italian
is-
lagers.
This is a big thinking question.
Cold IPAs.
No, cold IPAs have come and gone.
Cold IPAs
it's just
lasted
a Pilsner.
briefer than brewed IPAs.
Yeah.
I
Brute-
love
brute.
brute IPAs. They need to come back. That shit was great.
It's just a crispy boy.
Yeah. The pastry thing is happening. What's happening now is a lot of breweries are doing going gluten-free sours. There's some of that happening. That's actually here now though. So like heavily fruited, we know about the slushies and all that stuff, but that's really tough. I mean, to predict what's next. And I'm be really curious to see what ChatGPT. I would ask someone like John. It's like, what are people doing? Like, what are the homebrewers doing?
You got gluten free. I need at least 3. That's it. I just need you to spitball.
Okay.
I got
All right.
I got gluten free.
Yeah, it's gluten-free
Think-
sours.
Okay.
Yeah. I think wild ales are going to come back. I
That's-
really do. I mean,
okay.
I hope they do. We're going to do some wild ales. Like I mean, we met with Kyle at Wiley Roots. What was that, like a year ago or something?
Mhm.
They stopped making them. They made delicious wild ales. I mean, he pulled some back from the cellar and we drank some. Amazing. But anyway, so and then I think lagers are going to come back. The lagers have always kind of been there, but I think craft lagers are going to be a thing. So those are my top 3. We'll see.
But real fast though, so I look at these as taproom trends versus like retail grocery trends, and I think those two things are a little different.
I'm talking craft. We got to talk craft.
Yeah,
that's all I know.
Well, no, I mean there's craft, but then there's taproom. So like you can have people that have like a Bell's. Well, I guess it's Kieran, whatever. But
you can do more stuff in the taproom. You can. I mean, we do. That's where we do our crazy stuff. Like I would never can an eggnog sour, right? Ever.
Yeah.
Just dangerous.
Yeah. It's just really funny right now that like one of the top retail beers in the U.S. right now, as far as the craft category goes in chain retail, is a triple IPA or what is it? Voodoo Ranger double IPA in like a 19.2 ounce can. That's the most popular sold. And so like
that's interesting.
That's still we were drinking those 3 years ago, whatever. Yeah. So it's just a footnote to say that the retail consumer is a little bit different than the taproom consumer, and that there's probably a little bit of lag time on that.
Yeah.
But I am excited for what you just said too, because I think all those things would be great.
But don't the trends have to start in the tap room? Like it's not going to go to market.
I think you send people.
You test it. That's a testing ground.
You send people to Butchertown Brewing that don't like sours, have them try sours, and then have them go to Kroger and say, "Oh, this beer says sour," and then you pick it up. And
I'll give one more trend that I've seen here recently. For the last, I would do it after chat because it is AI versus AC, but. This past 2 weeks, I've seen more people asking about like, oh, I just saw was reading up on just like an English bitter or like an English mild, like a Belgian wit. Like so much of the kind of like non-Pilsnery classics seem to be more on people's radar. So I think the show Peaky Blinders has made a lot of a lot of people want some English mild
like
because they drink it out of buckets and it's cool. Anyway, chat.
Okay.
I will say, if anything, ChatGPT is more in touch with the current social phenomenon than John Renane.
No.
Ouch. Shots fired.
We're going to give this a go. ChatGPT, can you predict the next beer trends for 2023?
Some of the recent trends in the beer industry include the use of locally sourced and unique ingredients, such as fruits, spices, and wild yeast.
Okay.
The increased popularity of sour beers, which are made by fermenting the beer with wild yeast or bacteria to create a tart or acidic flavor profile.
Is there a speed?
The use of unusual and unique barrel aging, such as bourbon, wine, or tequila barrel, to impart different flavors to the beer. The rise of non-alcoholic and low-alcohol beers. The use of cannabidiol, CBD, oil in beers as an ingredient. These are some of the trends that have been growing, but as the industry is constantly evolving and innovating, I cannot predict.
That's enough.
She needs to finish that. Good finish.
David just came out of the Matrix.
Jesus Christ. Finish it.
And that's where AI will never be as good as
you. I wasn't finished, Mr. Satterwhite.
And AI was like, I really don't fucking know.
I will say though, but yeah, AC definitely won that one because not only did you predict 2 of the 3 ChatGPT, you expounded upon it. So I think you're smarter. You're smarter than the AI.
Oh, awesome! Thank you. Good. Okay, cool. That's a relief. I thought ChatGPT brought up some good points in that last one though. That was pretty good. But I mean,
agree. The locally sourced ingredients.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's a good
CBD,
trend.
I thought was interesting.
I think beyond that, now that mushrooms are getting legalized, let's put all the drugs in beer. That's what it used to be back in
or
they
the
used to use it for ritual purposes, the hallucinian mysteries and stuff. Let's drug this stuff up.
Well, it's interesting. We were asked to do a hemp beer for the Hemp Fest thing, and we couldn't source the
terpenes.
It's like a hydrosol something or other. Anyway, it's really hard to get, I guess, apparently. But anyway, because it's got to be water soluble. A lot of the oils are not water soluble. But the what was I thinking about the non-alcoholic? Like we have one on right now. We really only have it on for dry January, and we've got a bunch of it. So that'd be great if that's a trend.
I have some breaking news. Per a email that just came in right now from a human, not a AI.
ChatGPT.
That's the
Okay.
best of my
Sure. So you
knowledge.
think it's the Turing test.
Pivot Brewing, here located in Louisville, Kentucky, will open up their Highlands taproom location for a soft opening this weekend. So the podcast will be coming out a few days after this weekend, but whatever. For Friday and Saturday, and so you two should go there. I'm sure you're gonna get the invite.
Awesome,
Check it out.
absolutely.
So Pivot's opening this weekend after we just talked about it. So
Yay.
That is so
Awesome.
breaking.
You heard it here third.
Damn.
folks.
probably.
Right.
Late breaking news.
But right now, it's breaking.
Yeah, right now it is breaking. So on that
Very
point,
cool.
we do want to thank you both for coming on, spending some time
Thanks
with
for
us this
having us.
evening.
Thank you.
A lot
This
of
is really
fun.
nice.
Before
Appreciate
we
it.
wrap up completely, is there anything that you all want to, share? Anything upcoming that's you're really excited about?
Yeah, we got a lot of festival seasons coming up. What do you?
You got the new membership program that's
Yep.
starting.
Yeah,
you
we
know,
just started our new membership for 2023. But yeah, we're gonna have
lots of
some
barrel aged beers coming up.
Yeah, it's all barrel aged beers. It's going to be some crazy stuff coming up. We did a Horace collab. I'm hoping that that's going to be ready for this membership. That is, we put that. It was his. We worked together on a base beer and base stout, and we put it in a Woodford vanilla barrel. Like they made vanilla bourbon and took the bourbon out and sold us the barrel. So it's drinking really
Super
nice.
excited about
So
that.
yeah, super vanilla.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's coming up. Lots of cool festivals coming up. I don't know.
Hopefully some events now that we can now
Yes.
that the tap room is available, it's going to be open for tap room rentals. So if people want to have a get together there, party,
For sure.
Melwood has a lot
Bar
of
mitzvahs,
yeah.
for those 21 and older.
Yeah, they've got a lot of events. So, be great for groomsmen to hang out, the
Yeah.
wedding party, whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff a lot of events that happen at Melwood. So yeah, and we've gotten a lot of walking traffic, which is we didn't get before upstairs. But yeah, so lots of fun stuff coming up. We're gonna have music in the courtyard when the weather gets nice and consistently nice. Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
Or just stand outside of the tap room in line, even if you don't
That's
have to be.
right.
And drink some beer,
Yeah.
drink some High Life, whatever. Yeah, share some.
For sure.
David's looking forward to that.
I am. I would like to plug the Menu, an HBO exclusive movie. It's great. If you can make it through course 4, you're really in for a treat.
Uh-oh.
Sweet.
But everyone go watch the Menu. Let me know what you think. Is it fun? Is it dark? What's on the menu?
I don't remember what streaming service it was on. It was either Amazon or Netflix, but there's this show and it's terrible and no one should watch it, but it's ridiculous. It's called Oktoberfest, Beer and Blood. And it's a Peaky Blinders meets Downton Abbey-esque, German TV show that's this violent narrative of how the guy who started Oktoberfest and turned it into the big thing that it is now was pulling no punches. So some German production company made a, in my opinion, terrible. I tried watching it. It was
production, really bad production.
just why? It's just why? But
Yeah.
anyway, the title in and of itself, Oktoberfest, Beer and Blood.
Beer and blood.
That's my shout out for no one to watch.
Well,
Thanks.
beer saved civilization. We know this, right?
Beer created civilization, in my opinion.
All right,
and
there
saved
you
it
go.
many times over.
Let's take it a step
100%.
further. I like it.
Yeah, there's multiple indicators throughout earlier
Yeah.
Homo sapien human that yeast domesticated us.
Let's
So,
boil some water. Hey, I'm not dead.
way to end on a high note, John. I like that.
Muller, any final shout outs?
I'm getting around to finishing up Lonesome Dove, a Western novel by the last name's McCurdy or McChurty. I don't know. It's pretty good.
It came out in the 80s, wasn't it? Wouldn't it come out in the 70s, 80s?
It came out in 1985,
Okay.
and there was a 1990s miniseries with Robert Lee Jones. What's his name?
Men in Black.
Yeah, Men in
Tommy
Black.
Lee Jones?
Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones. Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy
Yes,
Lee
yes,
Jones.
yes.
Sorry, I've had a little bit too much of the Italian Pilsner and the Four Roses, I guess. Tommy Lee Jones miniseries. It's really good. It's one of the longer novels I've read in a while. I'm trying to get back on a fiction game. So that's pretty fun.
Yeah,
I'd recommend it.
We started a French series. It actually has won a bunch of awards. I finally got her on it. She tried a few times, but it's just bear with it on the first season because it gets really good. It's called Spiral. It's fantastic.
It's a French
like a detective crime show. Yeah, it's fantastic. So you guys watch that.
I for one love Sherlock Holmes, so I will probably watch that.
It's too good also.
All right, catch us next time on the Kentucky Pop Culture Media Hour.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Yeah.